Extra deck monsters. What are they? Extra deck monsters are monsters that, if you might have guessed, are from the extra deck. They usually require special conditions to be met in order to be summoned, and they can be summoned onto this extra monster zone that is reserved for them, or onto any of your main monster zones, except for links and pendulums from the extra deck. Those have to be summoned onto the extra monster zone. Before I start, there are going to be exceptions to all of these summoning methods, but this is generally how they work. Now let's go through all of these colors. Fusion. Fusion monsters are usually fused together with a polymerization card or other fusion cards. They either have really specific requirements in order to be summoned, or just a specific category of card that they outline, such as an archetype, monster type, attribute, etc. Synchro. Synchro monsters usually need a tuner monster card, which you can identify right here. Then you need one or more non-tuners, and they just have to add up to the level of the synchro monster. Exceed. Exceed monsters are monsters of the same level that match the rank, or in other words, these black stars on an Exceed card. Then you just stack the monsters on top of one another in a landscape orientation and place the Exceed monster on top of it in a portrait orientation. Pendulum. Pendulum monsters can essentially be treated as your run-of-the-mill monsters, except that when they're destroyed, they go on top of the extra deck, face up. Moreover, these cards have a pendulum scale, which can be identified right here, and thus instead of summoning them like monsters, you can activate them like a spell on the far left and far right of the spell and trap zone. Then you can conduct a pendulum summon once per turn, which allows you to summon as many monsters from your hand or face up on your extra deck, as long as they are between the two scales that you place down. However, if you summon a pendulum monster from the extra deck, then they must go in the extra monster zone. Links. Link monsters require a certain amount of monsters to be sent to the grave equal to their link rate. So if it's a link rating 2, then it requires 2 monsters. However, you can also use link monsters to summon other link monsters. So if you want to summon a link 3 monster, then you can use a monster with a link rating of 2 and another monster. And boom, it adds up to link rating of 3. Also, wherever these arrows point to, you're able to summon more monsters from the extra deck. Here's a bonus. These are ritual monsters. Ritual monsters aren't found in the extra deck, but I decided to include them for you guys anyways. These monsters are usually summoned by a ritual spell that is specific to that card or archetype. For instance, these two are of the same archetype. Then you normally have to tribute or sacrifice monsters from your hand or field whose levels are equal to or exceed the level of the ritual monster that you're summoning. And that's pretty much all you need to know about extra deck monsters.